Welcome back to the Off the Script podcast with your retarded host. And today we're joined by the ginger beast himself, the owner of the anabolic apples.
No, mate, yeah, indeed. No, you know, when you said retarded host, retarded guest, I was like, fucking hell, he's gone in deep. He put me right under the bus. Love it, man. Love it.
Yeah. Josh Goold, everyone, is episode 56, and we're going to run through his recent top 3 placing at the Two Bros, and also how he approached the prep alongside his coach Sasan, and everything that's entailed into a successful season, and how he plans to approach the post-show window and plans are moving forward. So first of all, mate, how you doing?
I feel fantastic. I mean, we've been talking prior to the podcast, obviously, a little bit. And like I said, we're taking advantage of this situation. I feel great about the placing, though, as well. Absolutely fantastic. The 2 geezers who beat me are like, if you know bodybuilding, you know who they are, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Amateur bodybuilding. I remember looking up in 2018, being a junior, and like being obviously following them on Instagram and being like, oh, those guys are huge. Like, they're fucking wicked. Like, they're going to smash it. Do you know what I mean? Remember, like, because like Moody was coached by Jamie back then, and you'd go on Jamie's story, and Moody would be there, and you'd be like, "Fucking hell!" And then Drew's in like he's like in the NABA universe, and like he was like a PCA pro, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
But like, I remember, oh fucking
I know he's a NABA pro, but I don't know if he's PCA.
I don't think it was PCA. I think it was NABA pro, but like, you know, it's like fucking hell. And I'm backstage with him in the same class. Like, fucking hell. What's going on? What's going on?
We'll get to show day towards the back end of the video. But let's take it back. So the prep was 12 weeks.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a weird one. So basically what happened was I was with JP, and then JP obviously publicly said he didn't want to coach anymore on a podcast, which, you know, fair enough. He's a very busy guy, and you could tell that he was getting busy. You know, you could tell he was getting busy anyway. So, you know, he was like, you know, he only wants some serious people, and obviously he was only sort of coaching pros, so it was pro prices, and I was just a bit like at that moment in time, I was like, I don't know. Yeah. You know, money wise, I was a bit like, oh, it's doable, but it's tight, and I want to be in a financial. What you got to know about prep is it costs money. You know, you want to be in a financial situation where you can go, actually, I'm going to jump into this show that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and I can pay for an Airbnb. I can pay for that, like, without having to think, fuck, when's am I going to be able to afford the bills? Do you know what I mean? So that's why I didn't want to put myself in that situation. And obviously, I've been speaking to Dan, and I was already sort of having a bit of doubts just because of what he said and that, and wanted to push things, if that makes sense, in terms of food. And anyway, so went with Sass, and then we didn't start diet. So the original plan would be like start dieting, like, you know, April, May time. So that would have been like a 20-week prep. And then Sasan was like, no, let's grow you. So he was like, no, he was like, stay off gear, stay it off. He was like, you obviously I just started using growth hormone with Jordan. So he was like, stay on your cruise dose, which is about 200 milligrams for me, if anyone wants to know. And then it was 2 IU of growth hormone as well. So I was just newly exposed to that. So we ended up staying off for you know, till about June, right? Which is a load more weeks than extra, you know, and it was 8 weeks on top of it. So, you know, I was off for a lot longer than I usually would, and it was I felt great, and I was looking. People were like, "You look like a bodybuilder now," and I was like, "He's feeding me KFC and cookies, and he's telling me to eat. Like, he's putting my food up." And, you know, a lot of people were like, well, isn't Josh going to be prepping? Like, he ain't going to be ready in time. You know, I felt that vibe. I did feel that vibe, and people were like, but then I was like, you know what? I've got my trust in Sass, and I don't see a single one of his guys coming on stage out of shape.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, everyone looks fucking peeled and hard and full. I was like, this shit works, right? So yeah, basically we started, the initial change in food was something like June the 8th.
Right.
And it was like lowering a little bit of food. And then he was like, we got a blood test, and he was like, it was exposure to drugs. So then we got a blood test. We obviously put a few bits in. Well, all we did was increase testosterone. That was it for the initial start. And I had a nice exposure. Like, it was okay, sweet. And he was like, I'm going to grow you into this show. Watch. I was like, fuck, and I only lost 20, about 32, 31 pounds over the whole the prep, which isn't like, people usually use like 40, 45, 50, 60. It's like, some people lose quite, it depends how fat they get, but
It's not like you weren't peeled at the start of the prep or anything like that either. So
I'll upload a photo on my Instagram that I've got, and I look at it and I'm like, I look like off season. I look off season. At the time I've been off season for so long that's how I look like. I was like, yeah, I'm not actually that bad,
yeah. You get used to it, like not seeing anything. It's just like a big cloud,
Just a cloud, yeah, exactly. I'm fat as fuck. With like with your shape, and that's it. You got your shape, and you're a fluffy ball, puffy. That's what I say, fluffy and puffy. That's what you're gonna get like. And it was great, and obviously having that exposure, it was new to do it that way, but I tell you what, I felt fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It was fucking great. Started getting stronger as well, because obviously we got the exposure there, which was getting stronger throughout the prep. It was only to the last couple of weeks where we had to sort of just sort of pull back on a few things. We did pull back on volume and stuff, and then it was like, yeah, Josh, don't go fucking crazy. You're a week and a half out. You need to start doing a bit of R&R, mate. It's me like going fucking trying to get 15 reps, aiming to PB on 15 on the 42s. a week and a half out, like that, maybe not.
Yeah.
There you go, mate. I felt great. Yeah, but yeah, so basically, that was like that was the sort of start of just that prep where we got into that day. So yeah, it was about 12 weeks of actual dieting, but it definitely worked, and it was definitely very effective. And just the way that Sasan worked with how it was different, because I coach very much like this, where it's frequent check-ins. Doesn't matter if your lifestyle, doesn't matter if you're a competitor. Yep. Everyone has 2 check-ins a week. I like to frequently stay on top of my team, and it definitely works. Now Sasan's like that. Now I've never experienced coaching myself. I've coached like it, but I've never had that my experience myself. But tell you what, it makes a fucking massive difference.
Yeah.
Because you can dig for a few days and then you can fill up. Then you can dig, or you can hold. You can catch things before they happen.
And it's similar to what Giant's doing now, because I know he's doing his own prep. And he's pushing really, really hard on food for a couple of days, and then 3 days a week he's doing barely like any carbs or anything like that. So there's a massive like fluctuation between, say, training days and non-training days. So he's blasting. The facts ain't right, but like 600 carb one day, and then he's on 50 carb 2 days later, and then fills back up again with 600, blah, 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 blah. That's just an example. It's probably not accurate for anyone who's listening, but that system seems to, it's going around now, rather than people blasting food at a moderate amount across the week. They seem to be favouring that rebound style approach to intake now.
Well, I think what's happened is that the style of coaching has changed in terms of you can't coach with 1 check-in a week. That doesn't happen anymore. If someone's doing that, it's not it. It might be 1 proper check-in, and then it might be send me your weight and photos. How are you getting on? So send me some photos. Like it's this frequently monitoring, because then you stop people from going flat for too long into themselves. When people start using drugs like fucking thyroid and stuff, and you've got to be, and I have some friends obviously who have changed coaches from having previous coaches that did do one check-in a week, and you could see you can see where the coach catches them, and myself, I coach before someone's like falling too hard and going flat for too long, you can catch it. You know what I mean? Or you can also push someone, and I do favour that. But it doesn't matter if that approach is a little bit different, because yet we know this game is it's a sport of no rules.
It's a duty of care as a coach, right? So
it's 100 ways to skin a cat, isn't it? And it's everyone responds differently. But if that coach is frequently checking in on that person, it doesn't matter what approach they're going by, they're frequently staying on top of it and making sure things are going in the right direction.
Well, it's a duty of care as a coach, isn't it? Like, you're paying attention. It's not like you do your check-in on a Monday and then you pie them off and on to the next one till the next Monday. I always put it to a similar scenario as like a teacher in a school, right? You don't give them a test, leave the test, and then you don't see them for a week. You know, they're in lesson the day after or 2 days later. You can see like areas that are weaker than the others, and you can build upon that. So, and it helps you build a personal relationship with your client as well.
Yeah, it does for sure. So yeah, definitely something that, I mean, I don't see myself working with anyone else but SAS. So right now,
before working with SAS, do you think you were a bit food deprived?
Yeah, for sure. In my off season, for sure. Yeah, I was stuck at 218. I never bring 220, and I feel like it was just. I think the sources, but I was very loyal, and I knew that having a coach learn your body was the way to go, and having one coach, getting that person to learn you inside out, was good. But from peers, good friends, people were questioning things and were like, like, you're not being fed. And I was like, yeah, but I'm getting stronger, and that's a good sign. It's like, well, it is a good sign, but 4 weeks, you haven't moved, you haven't budged, you haven't moved. And then there's me on a Q&A, and then there's me with my client. If that's happening with my client, I'm like, eat. I'm not thinking it for myself, because that's why I employ a coach, right? And that's the way we do it. So yeah, I definitely do feel like I was. I definitely feel, I've always said food is the biggest key into growing, and I feel like with this off season, what we're going to see with myself in the next, I've probably got a good 12 to 13 months of a season. I was going to start dieting if I'm doing a March show in 2023, which we'll talk about later, is I'll most likely have to start dieting in the December, right?
Yeah.
So I have to start dieting around about December time, January time. So yeah, I'll probably definitely have 13. That's about 13 months in it, around about that. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a bit more. Fucking hell. Off season, because I'm in a rebound period. We're just trying to put weight back on. So yeah, I feel like with this, definitely we'll see a drastic change, just because the way that me and Seth work and the way that it definitely, there's the synergy there, and definitely with the food, of the power of food,
With that, let's carry on talking about like food and nutrition, because it seems to be like a misconstrued idea that you can stay slightly above maintenance, increase drugs, and you're going to grow. It's not. It is correct to a point, but food is the most anabolic thing you can put in your body. You could be having 10 grams of gear and eating 1,000 calories. You're not going to grow.
No, you're not. No, you're not. But I mean, being in a smaller surplus and tataking high amounts of gear in the off season, well, I say high amounts, but higher amounts, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, it's all relative, but higher than
relatively probably a little bit less than you would take in prep, let's say, something like that. Where your prep, you tend to going to be to a higher exposure of drugs. No, that's anyway. So anyway, I'm like, I'm not saying everyone is. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to not say, I'm not, because one thing is this. One thing I do want to reiterate: there's not one rule fits all here.
No, we don't want to generalize. So.
But that method, and does it work? Well, we see people growing like that. Yes, we do. But in terms of really putting on some fucking muscle, I think you need to push food. And I do feel like the way that SAS did it, and that sort of approach of lower drugs in the off season, and then you have an exposure. You have an exposure to it because you haven't had it for 15 fucking weeks, you know. And it's like, holy shit! And your blood panel, it looks a lot better for it, right? So, you know, I'm actually quite gifted in terms of my blood panel. I've never had any issues, even when I have used certain bits. You know, never really, you know, blood pressure always been good. So it's a bit like, but your blood panel will thank you for that as well. Your body will thank you for it. You know, you got to anyway. So you definitely, then you obviously have an exposure there during a prep situation, which then, you know, you're gonna be able to see that, which is it's going to benefit you. Definitely going to take some benefits from that. Pardon me, just burped on a podcast. It's great. It would be a podcast, but yeah. So I definitely feel like, you know, food plays a massive role, but I feel like food, it's becoming more popular to do it that way.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think what the guys doing at Physique Collective, all of them, what they promote is fucking fantastic, because they promote, okay, we'll use a little bit of drugs, right? We'll use certain drugs that aren't going to, you know, in the off season, we'll use a little bit. We will off season blast, but it's you know, it's not a huge amount, which, you know, is great. And it's obviously always looking at non-estrogenic compounds as well. So, you know, it's awesome. And it's like, push the fucking food and look at other pathways that we can utilize. And it's like, that makes fucking a load of sense. That's great. And I actually utilize a lot of that in my coaching, and I even post transformations, and I've actually tagged them in it and said, look at other pathways. This is from the Physique Collective guys, which I think fantastic. Obviously, I have no affiliation with it at all. I just enjoy the app. I enjoy what the shit they put out. So yeah, obviously I think what they're doing is absolutely fantastic as well, and I think that's great, and you're seeing a lot more of that, you know. And if you see those guys, they're getting big. Like I tell you what, they're not fucking hard as a rock in the off season. They're puffy, they're soft, right? And they'll put the tissue on, and you know, I see that that sounds like that as well.
When you were pushing food just before the prep, obviously you was having KFC and stuff like that, and a boatload of food. How did you manage digestion? Was it an issue at all or no?
Digestion improved. Weird, right? So I was with Jordan. I was eating lots of fats. It was like fat sources from seeds and nuts, and I used to struggle getting them in. I remember saying to Dan, remember messaging Dan, being like, "Mate, these seeds taste like shit," and he messaging me like, "I'm eating fucking sushi, bro." Like, I'm eating cookies and sushi. I feel great, and I'm like, "Fuck!" And then he's like, "Look at this," and he's like 285. He's going to bed like 290. I'm like, "What?" Like, Dan's huge, and Dan had abs, like in a line of abdominals. He was round, full, and big. I'm like, holy shit! Like, Dan's exploded over these last couple of months, and it's like, and you ask him, and he's like, "Yeah, by the way, we're just taking a bit of slim, bit of growth hormone, and I'm doing performance TRT." Like, I'm like, like what? And it's like, hang on a minute, tell me more. You know, coming in and diving into it, but you know, it's just, it was when I sent my diet to Sass. Sass was like, "There's too much shit going on here, Josh. Simplify it." Simplified. You know, fat sources turned into nut butters and oils, mixed in really well. As soon as I started eating, I realized actually I had issues with my digestion. I felt fucking great. I was like, he lowered my fats and he upped my carbs. That's what he did. And obviously, I know the weirdest thing is, yet again, I always vouch for a lot of people are going to get I don't know. I'd rather have like moderate fats to lower with higher carbs. Like higher fat, you always feel a lot more sluggish.
What would you put a number on for yourself in terms of moderate fat to high fat?
What, moderate to high?
Yeah.
Like high fat's probably, like over 100 grams.
Yeah.
I was probably on that. You know,
so a gram per kilo, right?
Yeah, it was, well, it's like they say, 30% of your diet should be dietary fat, right?
Yeah.
So it was probably a little bit higher than 30%. So it was like, yeah, and I like to be fair, I like to put people a little bit lower than that, to be honest. But obviously it depends on the person. Totally depends on who they are. Yeah, but the thing is, what I felt was just like, holy fuck, like my stomach felt good, food was going down really quick, and like I was looking better. I was like, and I was going to the toilet better, and I was like, fuck, I had bad digestion. I was just blinded to the fact that I'd been eating the same shit for so long.
Yeah.
But we still got the fucking sunflower seeds in the
rotting away.
Like, they won't rot, mate. Will they? They're like fucking live forever shit. But I'm just like,
no.
Definitely feel. I love nut butters, so if we're going to use fats, nut butters are great. I like using oils because they're great. Obviously,
you don't even notice them really. So
extra virgin oil on your rice, you mix it up. That actually makes your food go down nice. It tastes good, right? A little bit of extra virgin olive oil, absolutely fantastic. Can't beat that. Yeah. So like, and if a bit of cheese goes down.
Yeah. People seem to like just forget about dairy. Fair enough. If you've got you've got problems with digesting it, don't fucking have it. That's just stupid. But if you can get away with using a bit of Kerrygold, or you can get away with using a bit of cheese, or if you're that bothered, you can use the low fat version.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But
a bit of what is it? Low fat Philadelphia.
Yeah, lighter light, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Love it. But but no, I definitely felt like, oh fucking hell, hang on a minute. And then he was like, okay, hi day, have this, and I'm like, Sass, I haven't had a cheat meal since Christmas, right? Christmas Day. And he was like, what? And he's like this, and he went, look, I said I like cheat meals to give to people.
Yeah,
I think they serve a purpose. They definitely can help, obviously, with like output, and obviously if we fill someone up, and then it means we can dig them down. So we might over the weekend be like, get a good cheat meal in, check in on Monday, and then obviously see where they are. Then my body might have utilized it, or their body, you can dig someone. So like I had that, and he was like, yeah, this is how. He was like, yes. He was like, but like also, I think passing different foods through the gut is good.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? He's got a good point, right? So I was like, I'll utilize a food that I really love, and I love KFC. I love like McDonald's and KFC shit, but I tell you what, ate it. Did I have digestive issues? No. My digestion got better. I was like, this is weird. It's like the day before my competition, what did I have to fill myself out? A fucking McDonald's. I had a double cheeseburger and large fries. And it's like, people are like, that's not the way you do it. It's like, is it? Like, people have been doing that for years. My glutes were fucking peeled, mate. I was like I had the hardest backside on the fucking out of that top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I might have. I have to go look at the photos. I was hard. I didn't realize how hard it was. Yeah. So, and it was needed. It was because I fucking had to make a silly weight cut, but we'll go into that as well. But yeah. If overall no issues at all, improved, which is absolutely fantastic, right?
Yeah. Would you have the cheat meal on top of the daily food, or a replacement of a meal?
Replace it for your second to last meal. The reason I always would opt for last meal, if you have a digestive issue, you have something new, you expose you to it, and you bloat the fuck out. At least you're going to bed.
Yeah.
And you go to bed, and it's settled by the morning. Get an 8-hour kip, you're going to be relatively okay. You're just going to have a dodgy shit.
It's true.
Or you might wake up at night, fucking
Yeah. Let's say fast forward to 6 weeks pre-show then. So you've come down a fair amount. Anabolics have increased, that sort of stuff. By the way, disclaimer for anyone who's watching: this is purely for entertainment entertainment. There's nothing educational. We don't advise anything, and just please obey the laws of your land. So there you go. So 6 or 4 weeks out from the show. If you could place us like smack bang in the middle, how was food looking? How was output looking? How was supplements looking?
So basically, about 4 weeks out, we started adding some orals in. So we started adding Yanavar. stuff like that. And yeah, you know, it's a typical prep cycle. I can tell you now, and I think pretty much everyone who's on prep pretty much takes these drugs, right? And I won't go to dosages. What I'll say is it's test, mass, and trend, right? Then you're looking at your orals. When orals go in, and thing is, one thing I want to say is we don't start with test, mass, and trend. Like I said, my first initial exposure was just an increase in tests.
Yeah.
Then after a little while, we had some mastron in. Then we tapered in some, and then we taper. You know, you taper these things up. You taper it in. Do you know what I mean? As you expose, and this is down to how your body responds. That first or foremost, you don't throw all the well. You can. There's no right and wrong.
It's just unnecessary.
What I believe and how I feel is you taper it in, right?
Yeah.
How your body responds, and this is point of having frequent check-ins. You can see how someone responds. So 6 weeks comes by, and about 5 weeks, I think it was 4 weeks, we exposed with Samanavar. So we put Samanavar in. What did it do? Help with performance. Help me hold that performance when performance starts to go down, right? Output, obviously, output was like we always had a base cardio, and then it would be like check in, you know, say if I checked in on a Monday, check in on Thursday, Josh. Okay, sweet. Okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll do this amount of cardio. Send me photos and check in on the Monday. So then, you know, you have the plan of action. So in terms of cardio, the highest my cardio ever went throughout prep was 2 hours. And the lowest it was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously, well, one at the start, it was 0. I didn't have any cardio. But yeah, and literally the 20 minutes was easy cardio. So cardio towards the end, it may have still been 45 minutes, but it was easy. So in terms of heart rate, are we looking to get our heart rate to 130 and do it with conviction? No, we're looking, you should be able to have what I'm doing now, I should be able to do while doing it. Maybe be a little bit, go. Okay, and then hang on. Like this. It's easy cardio. So that's what it moved into. So about those 4 weeks, that's where cardio was. So I guarantee you 4 weeks out, there was probably one session of 90 minutes in there. I couldn't put a finger on it. I'd have to look through my phone and the check-in. But yeah, I could guarantee it. And the way that we would do 90 minutes or 2 hours or a long session would be you do 45 minutes fasted, 45 minutes post-workout. You know, and the post-workout cardio, when we're doing it with conviction, it's on the stairs. We ain't fucking about. Right.
Yeah.
And I'll put the film. The best thing about the cardio, it was brilliant. I got to watch all my podcasts. I got caught up with everything. So it was fucking great. And everyone thought I was nuts. I was like, fucking, why are you so happy? And I'm like, dude, I got to watch Army of the Dead twice.
Any good?
Nah, fucking sick film. Got Dave Bautista. Zombie film. Great. Love it.
Yeah.
I watched it fucking twice. The best thing is, 2 hour film, you could, in the morning, I didn't really watch the films, right? But then obviously like post-workout cardio would, so you'd watch it and you go back the next day, right? And if you've got another long session of cardio, or you check in and he's like, yeah, we'll be okay. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. I actually had a little moment where I was like, oh man, I don't get to watch my stuff. And I would say to him, I'd be like, yeah, Sass, get to watch a little bit more podcasts. And he's like, yeah, I love you. I remember him just messaging me saying, I love your attitude. But like, that's my attitude. Like, like I'm going to get shredded. I'm going to get in a better position to possibly win and give myself the best position. So that's limiting all the doubt. And I get to watch a film.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't. There's no problem. It's win-win-win. Yeah.
Win. And because you're organising your day, you've got your check-ins done, you spoke to your clients, you do your thing after your cardio, you post, and then you're back talking to them on the blower. How you going, you know? I
think a positive approach, like mental approach to a prep, and knowing that there's fucking work to be done, but not approaching it with an attitude of, oh, why have I got to do this? Or why have I got to eat this? Will it impact the overall look and the benefits of the fucking exercise in the first place?
I think what you just hit there is having the attitude towards it.
Yeah.
You go rock climbing, right?
Yeah.
Right. Expect to have sore hands and expect to get chalk on you. Expect to be a laugh. If you love rock climbing, you don't think, oh, why have I got to fucking do this? You look at the hardest bit and you go, that looks like a right cunt to do.
Yeah.
Wait, let's give it some beans. right? It's like, oh, Sasan gave me 2 hours of cardio to do. It's like, fuck it, let's give it some beans. But you know what? I can watch Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
Really? Like yesterday. Yeah, but it's a great film. I missed a little bit of it because I went for a shit. Bang. You know what I mean? You go on there and it's great. But the thing is, that attitude you have, but that sort of positive attitude, don't lose. What I want to say, don't lose that in your off season.
Yeah.
Right? Because it you know, the novelty wears off.
Yeah, it does. It's like me being away from the gym for a while and not being able to train and perform the way I want to it's reignited that fire, as the way most people would get a buzz from that post-show rebound.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I've just had some great news or great experience, whereas mine's coming from a really shitty experience to being able to go back to the gym, do what I enjoy, do what I love, and not take it for granted. Like you're talking about someone who could barely do a bodyweight squat to now getting under there and burying myself under the hack squat. Like, take full appreciation for the fact that you're able to fucking do it in the first place. Because once it's gone, you don't know what you're missing, really.
It's like when you're in preps, like I say, take as many fucking photos as you can.
Yeah.
Those lines aren't going to be there 6 weeks after your show. They ain't going to be there, man. Like your arse lines and all your fucking hammies. Just get your dick out in the gym. Great. You know what I mean? like take them, enjoy that little moment, enjoy that they worked for it. Same with the off season, you know. Think about, right, I'm going to get super strong. I'm going to hit these lifts. I'm going to get here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get fucking huge. And I'm going to fill out my fucking Monster Factory top and make me feel round and big. Like, I want my fucking chain to sit there like a fucking, you know what I mean?
If you can fill out a Monster Factory top, you're doing something right.
Good, yeah, I tell you what, yeah. I think it's, you're right about that one. But that sort of attitude. But actually, we really weird off. So, so obviously that was... So 4 weeks, we started exposing to that. And then as we went on, we added in Winnie and something that was new to me, we added in Halo. It's quite a toxic drug to use.
Was that mainly for performance purposes?
That was, you know what, like it was more nearer. It was more for like fun. It was more for like getting harder, you know, for sure. You know, and the thing is, I don't really like ever saying like Anavar will make you give you a cosmetic effect, because unless you get into the condition,
it's not going to do anything.
The fucking do the 8 weeks or whatever it is, however long your prep work is, when you won't see that cosmetic. Like Joe Blow now, who is in his like looking like an off-season shape, you start taking Anavar, you ain't going to see shit. What you will see though is the benefits of performance. Taking an oral, right? But then I think there's better pathways to go down if you want to do that, right? Just saying that. But so I hate saying the cosmetic effect. It's one thing I don't like saying, but it is true. But
if everything else is in order correctly,
I think you have to reiterate
that impact.
You have to reiterate the fact of you have to do the work.
It's a shame, really, isn't it? It's a shame that you have to put that point across, because those things should be in fucking place anyway before you're even thinking about using that drug.
Yeah, it's true. But it's very easy to see. It's a lot more sexy for me to get a photo of me saying, "This is me here. This is me here. 2 weeks out. We have done this," and it's like we added this, and then it's really the point to be beep, 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 beep. But it's like, but the 8 weeks of the 2 hours of cardio, doing that with the low days of the low food of 50 grams of carb, with the 2 hours of cardio, doing those days where we had to put that effort in, right, and get lean and get the body fat off, right, and smash your training sessions. You know, it's all fantastic. I'm not moaning, but you've got to do all of that and embrace that for that to work, to actually see that, you know. So I think that's what the issue is. But again, the people who sort of have that thought process, they're taking the advice of the people who sell it them. And first and foremost, we're going down a different rabbit hole, so you're going to stop me before I go down it. But one thing I would say to everyone: never take advice from the geezer selling you, because that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make money. All right. He's going to tell you that fucking anavar is going to get you as hard as shit, even though all you eat is McDonald's and you've got a belly.
It's true. Very true.
I'll tell you about energy balance and a calorie deficit. That's for sure.
It's all about the gate. No. Yeah. So we'll get to 2 weeks out now.
Yeah.
How were you weight wise? Because obviously you got a weight class to reach. So that things like that. Carry on. I'll be back 2 seconds.
I got harder. I got harder at like 200 pounds. So I was just sitting about. I was sitting about 2 weeks out. I think we had like we did get lower than the weight class. I think like in 2 weeks out we were like we got to like 200 and then we went down to like 198, 197. I remember actually seeing lows of 196 or 194. Like, I remember actually like we got low. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this weight cut easy. I think that was the lowest. We saw a low. And we started like taking like GH lower. We did increase GH to 4 AU at some point, and then we put it down to 3, put it 2, and we took it out completely so we can make weight. But there was we started like I was very flat at that, so we got flat, and that's obviously we needed to get flat to fill up. But I remember like thinking, we're gonna piss this, and then it's like we loaded a little bit, okay, a little bit fuller. We loaded a little bit more, and it's like, yeah, you're still flat, but you need to be fuller. It's like, yeah, I'm 190, 197. Yeah, we'll be all right. And it's like push again, and it's like the day. Then it gets to the day of the weigh-in. It's like 199, and we're like, Sasan's like, we could like actually push you a little bit more. He's like, you look great. We look fantastic. He's like, and then he's like, I fucking hate weight cuts. It's like, he's like, I hate weight limits. Sorry. He's like, he's like, I fucking hate it. He's like, I'm holding myself back, but I can't go and jump into the fucking heavies.
No.
And be 202. Like, do you know what I mean? You got matey boy sitting at fucking, who's done what I've done to get to 225. You know, who's then back on stage Sunday morning at 2:30, right? Because I was like on stage at like 199, 200. I made the weight cut though, but that was, yet again, we had to go to the extreme, and it wasn't extreme. We had to just like not eat, not drink. We used a tiny amount of diuretic, and we used that prior actually. We used it like obviously because it's just the way it works. We used it prior.
Do you think, obviously knowing now how not difficult, but it wasn't a breeze making that weight class, do you think you're meant to be big?
Yeah, and now for sure gave me. I always knew. Regardless, I'm like, I want to be big. I want to be an.
Yeah, you want to be a massive bastard. Yeah,
I've always massive, right? That's been me. That's I don't say words,
with an F, by the way, with an F.
With an F. I don't say, these fancy words and talk about stuff like that, but like I'll say, I want to get massive. I don't be like, accumulate the tissue, blah, blah, blah. We want to get fucking big, all right? We want to get massive. I understand that shit. So, yeah, it definitely showed me that, like, hang on a minute. And because of my height, I knew, like, I needed to be. Like, I was relatively tall for that class, like, especially on that first lineup. But when I got called out with the people, not the first call out, but when I initially got to come up, do our comparisons,
alphabetical, whatever they do,
it would looked at me, and I was just like, those guys, none of them placed, but they're all like shorter. They all needed time to fill their frames out, and you could tell I had the 10 pounds on them. You could tell I had the height and the structure, but then looking at my structure, you can see like this needs to be, the clay needs to be added. You need to get in there and make and progress those lifts, get that iron, and it was just like, it was a big eye opener. And then Sas confirmed it to me. Sas sent me actually a lovely message, saying like, you're just getting started. You are not a light heavyweight. You're not a 212 bodybuilder.
No.
He was like, you are born to be an open. He's like, you got about the attitude. He says you can get fucking peeled. He was just like, we just need to add size, And he said some nice things. He actually said, "There's a pro card waiting for you," and I was like, "Okay." Which this show,
Yeah.
I wanted to know: can I hang with the likes of Moody? Can I hang with Drew Walker on that stage, or
also,
am I left behind? But
also, go on.
I was going to say I wanted to win because
of course,
we're competitors, right? We are competitive, but I deserve to come where I deserve. I deserve my placing because they had the muscle. They've
built their physiques with that weight class in mind. So it's part of the process. But also, I was going to say, like, for people that aren't familiar with Sas, he's not someone who's going to blow smoke up your ass.
No,
but he'll tell you what he thinks.
Yeah, that's exactly what it. Yeah, and it was nice, and I was just like, mate, let's fucking do it. Let's fucking go. And I was like, I got what I needed, and then it was just, it was fucking good.
How was the whole experience on the day?
On the day, so I got there. It was great. Like, the best thing is obviously I've had a big change in this prep. I went from at the start of prep, working full-time job, coaching on the side, very unhappy working when I did. So then leaving that job and going, right, I'm going to go full-time coaching, increasing my coaching and being able to take that on full-time, which has been fantastic. Like, I work all the hours all the time, right? Do you know what I mean? I get up earlier, I go to bed. Well, I can have a structure, so I go to bed actually like at a decent time, right? But like from those hours, you are working. But I love it. It's fucking great, right? It's awesome, and it's just fantastic. And it just, obviously that's been able to give me a little bit better. Like, the job I had, it didn't pay well at all. It was fucking terrible. It was I'll be honest. So it didn't take me very long at all to actually start advertising this. Start actually look what you can do. Look how you can change lives. Help people, Josh. This is what you wanted to do. You went to university to be a coach in strength and conditioning. You were a good PT. You were a good strength and conditioning coach. Look how you help with these young individuals here, where they pay you fuck all money. Go do your own thing on what you love as well.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was that conversation I had to be had with myself, and the wife and some close friends. Anyway, so basically. It was great. So we got an Airbnb. It was fantastic. It was great. And then on the day we got there, got tanned up a couple of days before. Can I just? I'm dying for a piss. Can I just go before this? Because I'm absolutely dying. Just entertain, mate. This is what happens. You drink your fucking.
I've got, for anyone who's watching on the video, Chapman wouldn't be very happy because the presentation is shit. But I've got 80 gram of cream of rice, double chocolate flavor, 30 gram of crunchy peanut butter. It has to be crunchy, none of this smooth shit. 60 grams of whey. It's not really whey because it's the MRE by Redcon, and 2 grams of salt and some blueberries. And this is going to be pre-meal. Oh, and about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So
that was the clearest piss going. I love a clear piss. Anyway, right. Anyway, so I get to the venue. It's great, and I'm seeing it was a big show. You got to remember, it was the busiest show they've had in years, and it was one of the busiest. It was the busiest show of the year so far. Obviously, Arnold's is coming up, which will probably be really busy. But there was. We park up. Guess who's in the car next to us? Oscar. I've just watched Oscar's density down fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? All right, Oscar. All right, bruv. Speak to them. Go in there to get tanned. I'm getting tanned. There's big pale nasties there. I'm like, oh man, I love the podcast. Like all the people you see off Instagram, they're all there. Scottish Titan was there. I was like, Jesus Christ. Looking at his arse. Like I even text my wife. I said, look at this guy's arse. Look at number whatever it is.
Who's that, Greg's?
But yeah. Is that Greg? I do Scottish time. He's art like, oh my god, couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there talking about a bloke's bum, and there was what's his name? NS Physique, which is Nathan.
Nathan Starr, yeah.
He was there. We're all getting tan. We're sitting there with a fucking, because you're used to it. You've done a few shows. You've been around the block. You're used to it. But I'm in there getting tan next to the super fucking heavyweights. I felt fucking tiny. Obviously, I knew. I followed Moody for a while. He's followed me, so instantly he was speaking. And I'm not a quiet guy. I'm very loud, very talkative.
You never are, Josh.
You know what I mean? You're not. I'm not a guy who's quiet. So I talk to everyone. And we sat back there, and we sat back with the super heavyweights with everyone, and it was great having a good chat. Obviously, I'm good friends with Simon Brooker as well. So when he came in, it was like, "What's up, bro? How are you doing?" You're like, "Yes." We're having a chat. Like, we've been talking on the phone throughout this prep. We were having a good chat. He looked fucking big as fuck as well.
Considering sort of just jumped in the supers because he was there.
Yeah.
He's a heavyweight,
So anyway, there's me, and you all know, as the bigger you get, you don't really sometimes, when you're in your posing trunks and you're backstage, you still feel like you still feel like you did when you were 155 pounds. Last time I was backstage, 154, I think it was. Fucking skinny fuck. But
at the PTA show, he was 154 pounds.
Yeah, I was tiny, mate. Yeah,
fucking hell.
I was tiny.
That's crazy.
Bastard. I was like fucking didn't have any muscle on my back or
anything.
Still
had the arms though.
Pardon?
Still had the arms.
Oh, that was the only thing I did have. The only thing I had. The only thing I had, mate. The only thing I had. But the thing is, they anyway. So we're all back there, and obviously you could the way that they acted, or not acted, but the way they were, you could see how relaxed they were. Now, I wasn't nervous. I was more like, oh, I need a wee. Oh, can I go for a wee? Can I not go for a wee? That's what I was. I don't. Sometimes I don't think. I don't think to myself. I think out loud. And Moody, give it to him, and Drew, Moody especially, he really did sort of babysit me a lot because he sat next to me. To be fair, he did forget he didn't have any nut butter, and I didn't have it. I didn't need any.
Oh, that's what it was.
Right, and I was like, he was like, you got any nut butter? I was like, I've got almond and I got peanut butter. He was like, yes. I was like, mate, I gave him fucking. There you go. Pick what you want. Pick what you want. So gave him that. Yeah, he was. He were banging it. We were just talking. It was good to talk and pick his brains about shit, like the pumping up bit, like what do you do for pump up? What do you kind of do? And it was interesting to know, going in, and I was asking him because he's coached by Dave Palumbo.
Oh, really?
So I found that very interesting because obviously who Dave Palumbo is. So how you get on with that? How are you getting on with Dave? How do you find it? And really, really good. And obviously what they're doing together fucking is incredible because he was absolutely, he was full, nice, round. Yeah. It was good. It was interesting to know, as well, you talking, you actually realize that not the hardest guy on stage is always going to win.
No.
It's the most complete, and this is the conversation we're having, and hearing that from someone who's competed for many, many years. They've taken that realization, they've passed that on to me. Like, you do realize that actually, and it's definitely very interesting. Obviously it's the most complete package, the person who wins. But
condition, fullness, presentation, all has to complement one another, right? So
yeah, and for sure I saw just the way it was. Like, Drew was back there and he was just pumping up his pump up thing. He was just sitting there and he was eating matchsticks, just like chewing on them. We were sort of picking his brains a bit, and he was ever so calm, and we were sort of like, who's got the best beard? That's what was going around. And it was like, the thing is, Ian and Justin meant to me, they were like, if it was a best beard competition, you'd win, mate. I was like, oh man, shame it isn't. And then we were like, yeah. So on the day, there was a lot of learning of people who had been around a long time.
Yeah.
And you know, made good friends with them, you know, and as you do, as you should, you know, lots of respect for everyone who was on that stage, everyone who was there as well. It was nice, and I was social, and it was nice to speak to like Callum from Muscle Mentors as well. I said, "Do you remember calling me Gimli?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I don't really look like Gimli anymore, I hope," but then I do. I still do. But yeah, we were, you know, we had a good chat. It was nice to talk. Obviously, I know Jace very well. He's a good pal of mine. So he came over, we had a chat and talk, and it was just nice to talk. And it was funny to know that actually a lot of people know who I am as well.
Yeah.
Weird. That was a bit like, oh, like people who I follow, I didn't know that they follow me or they don't follow me, but they know. They were like, oh, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, it's probably me shouting at my wife. Sorry. Me being me. But no,
It's weird with this as well. Like when me and Jermaine went to the BNBF Midland show,
yeah.
it was like, oh, how you doing, Jermaine? How you doing, Joe? I'm like, who the fuck are you? They just know from the podcast, right? So
I knew everyone else.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's strange.
Surprised that they've seen me. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you don't think that these people.
You just think you're just prattling about like with your phone or having a chat or whatever. But people take no, I mean like in general, like that's all you think. You don't really think you're having an impact on anyone else.
Yeah, it's also I think I'm so far behind where these guys are.
Yeah,
I've got to go, and it's like, why would they even look at me? They just think, oh, he's, you know, he's just he's a kid coming up.
Yeah.
Fucking
So he ended up taking third, and how was the night after the show?
The night after the show was good, but taking third, like actual getting on stage and stuff, that was great. Learning about pumping up and stuff more, and shout out to Moody again. Me and him pumped up together, so we hold and help each other. Get a good fucking pump. It was solid, but sort of like hitting poses. I realised that actually, when you're in like as hard as you are, you don't need to like
fully hit him. No.
Hit it, because I was fully hitting poses, and I look back at the footage and I see how more calm and collective the others are. I'm not going to hit a pose that calm. I don't think my physique is.
No.
I'm more of a boom, right?
Yeah,
that's me, and that's my personality. But it's a boom like that rather than that, like squeeze up, because I started sweating, and I don't think I didn't need to do that. But yeah, it was. Remember, tan run a little bit. It was a bit annoying, but you know, it's not going to affect my placing.
No,
it obviously didn't, because I was, you know, it was good. The best thing about it is that as soon as they got the top three, I got called out. I was like, yes. Top 5. They called me. I was like, yes, right. So because I wasn't with them, you have to remember that. So I was on the other group. So I was like, I come out, sweet, stand there straight away. So and so switch. Look to the side of me. It's Moody. I was like, well, we're doing good, right? And I soon realized he's in the middle. So I'm like, fuck, right, let's try and get in the middle. But then they obviously didn't move us at all, and we were just and they made us do rounds, and then they made us do another round, and I was like, okay, close. This is close between us. And then I knew I got in there, and I said backstage, I was like, fuck yes, to get to do my routine. That was the biggest thing. Only top 5 got to do their routines. I was like,
yeah.
I'm fucking happy about that, because that's what I want. You know, my route. I don't know if you saw my routine, but
I've seen the bits. Yeah,
I put a fucking show on. Right?
Yeah,
it's me. I'm going to entertain. I'm shouting at the crowd, going, "Come on!" I'm hitting fucking poses. I'm doing it to Queen. I'm doing sexy shit. I'm doing what I love. Right? I'm using the whole stage. I've got Ian Constable, the geezer. What a legend! He's singing my fucking song at the end. He's having a laugh. He's having a good crack. I lifted the room. My energy lifted the room. Boom. That's what I wanted to do with that routine. I want to uplift people, make people fantastic. And hopefully there's a kid who was watching his big brother, saw that and went, I want to bodybuild, because that looks fantastic. Excellent. Do you know what I mean? That's hey, you know what I mean? That's absolutely awesome. And that's what I wanted to do. So basically, after I got off stage, I sat back, and I was like, got a few photos we got photos together, and I got photos of everyone, me being me. And I spoke to Corey, who was in the supers, and I was like, mate, like, you know, he smashed it. We had a good chat, and he's a really nice fella. What a gentleman he is. Everyone was a gentleman, to be fair. Everyone was a gentleman. And then we just sat there, and I said to Moody, obviously before, I said we should share a cookie like that, and he was like, oh, and then he got into the rule, and I was like, do you still want that cookie? And he was like, nah. I was like, all right, well, I'll sort you out after, which I still owe him a cookie, so I do remember that, mate. You know, yeah, I do remember that. If he ever listens to this, I do remember it, so I will sort you out a cookie at some point. But yeah, I sat there. And I think I ate a cookie backstage straight away. I was like, right, I'm having a bit of one of these because they were like literally on top. And I was like, I munched a little bit of one. I just wanted a little bit of something. I felt happy about myself. Come third, I was like, sweet, top three. I've just battled it out with two geezers that I've been looking up to, thinking that fucking physiques are awesome. You know what I mean? And I've just. I'm on my phone, and my wife has sent me photos, and I'm like, you know, I'm pricing up well with these guys, you know, and I got what I come for. I got that confirmation, and I uplifted people. I got the crowd going on my routine. I got people, you know, cheering, and I was really surprised with the amount of cheers I had for people. You know, I had a lot of people did turn out for me, and you know, for everyone who did cheer for me, you know, I appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? It was a nice feeling. It was a nice feeling to be like you know, to be like, "Way, you know, go on." It was like, "Yes, mate, yeah, fucking hit the most muscular." Like, you know, it's a good impact, good feeling. And then after, I was like, I took a little while to put me. I changed clothes, and I didn't know where to change, so I got naked backstage. To be fair, no one was around. It's weird. I was like, I wanted to take my posing trunks off, but I didn't want to go out the door.
Yeah.
Because they were glazing up the classic guys. What do I do? I was like, you know what? And there was one toilet backstage. Shock. I was like, what do I do? I was like, you know what? I'll go fucking. I just said to Corey, I said, mate, just have a look around. I'm trying to get fucking changed here.
Well, like when you need a piss when you're about 7 and you ask your mum to just watch to make sure no one's coming.
Well, I just said, have a look. No one can see me through there because you got to remember the curtain's a little bit weird. Like at some point, you can see the audience from backstage.
Oh, you're just behind the curtain.
Mate, I'm just behind the curtain. Yeah, right? I'm taking it off, my bare ass out, you know, with cocks out and that. And I'm like, put me fresh pair of pants on, which felt amazing. Fresh pair of pants, felt great. I had I had a new top put on. It was nice. That got covered in tan. Just put some clothes on, and then I stayed a little bit and watched Classic, and I got to see everyone. I sat down. I asked Tom Haynes for some feedback because I saw him first, and he just said, "Look, you did really well. Like, you know, fantastic in a big class." And got some honest feedback of him. Spoke to Jace, honest feedback of Jace, which I asked for Jace. I said, "Mate, I want some honest feedback." Just said, "Look, you need to bring everywhere up, you know." And it was just like, yeah, just bring yourself, bring areas up, you know, bring your upper body up, bring your like, you know, keep doing what you're doing on your legs. Just bring bring your back up, etc. You need to be a bigger weight class. So it was great. And I just talked to a few people, met my family, and that my mum and dad shot off straight after me, pretty much. They were going out meeting friends. So my dad gave me a goodie bag full of fucking donuts. Jesus Christ, that was dangerous. I fucking ate the lot. I felt really bad. I was like, do I eat this in front of everyone? And then I was like, fuck it. So I said, do you want a donut? She goes, yeah. She had a donut, and I sit there, and I ate half a bar of dark chocolate, which was amazing. The only bad thing is, as a competitor, if you left the venue, you weren't allowed to get back in.
Oh, really?
So I didn't have enough fluid. So I drunk all my fluid, and I sat there for a bit. And then I was like, I started getting a bit of a headache, and I was like, I need to drink fluid. I know I need to have salt. I need to drink. I fucking just did a stupid weight cut. I've been on like limited. I've been dehydrated for days. Like you need to drink. So I knew what I needed to do, but like, but one of my best mates is about to go on stage. So, but I messaged him. I said, look, mate, I'm gonna have to shoot after your thing because my head's killing me. Then my leg just cramped all the way up, and I was like, right, it went, and I was like, that's the sign. That's
Yeah,
the sign.
game over. Yeah.
That's the sign. So we got back. I got to the car and I just started drinking fluid, and then Chanel was like, there's a Five Guys on the way back. We'll stop off there. So we stopped off there, and then my mate who was on stage, because we watched him and he was classed as one of the last ones of the classic. He actually met us there. And we only just ordered, to be fair, so he wasn't far behind. And we sat there, and I had a Five Guys, and I had one of them. I don't know what it was, but I had some of their milkshake, one of their milkshakes, which it probably was. But Chanel didn't have any milkshake. It was a new Five Guys. But by the time we got home, both our stomachs, Chanel hadn't been dieting at all. Both our stomachs were bloated, but digestive, like gastrointestinal stress, hard, like really hard everywhere, like a pregnant belly. And we both looked at each other like, what the fuck? So I tried, I filmed it. I tried to have a cookie dealer. I think I had a cookie dealer and then a cookie, which tasted great. And then I was just like, head. I didn't, not like last time. Like last time I got off stage in 2018, I had back when Steak Rub House was there, I think it was called. Do you remember that place?
I don't, but I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not open anymore, I don't think. But yeah, we went there, and then we bought a bag full of junk, and then I had a bag full of junk. Then we stopped off at a Starbucks where I had a coffee and brownie. Then I had a McDonald's, and then I had a KFC all in the same day. And I was like, that's what I had, that's a binge post show. Expect to be heavy after that. And then obviously, I woke up, but I woke up and I was like 9 pounds up. But that's the water.
Yeah.
Christian explained this on a podcast really well. And I think this is the best way to explain it. The further you have to pull back the pendulum, the further it's going to go.
You're going to go equal the other way. Yeah.
You have to remember that. So for someone who was ready and got fuller at 199, then had to do a weight cut, and by the time at 4:30 with no water, which I was already dehydrated, no water and food from about 2 o'clock till 4:30, which then was at 5:30 after my tan. I got, I weighed in at 192. So it's like, I was dehydrated, which I reckon if I, didn't say to my mate and say, "Oh fuck, I'm just gonna go," and drunk, 3-4 liters, plenty of salt in the drinks, I reckon I would have been, a little bit better off.
Yeah.
But again, sent photos to Sas. He was happy. We're happy. We're good to go. And now we're at rebound phase.
So briefly, what's the plan going forward?
Well, we're in a rebound phase now. So obviously I only did like a 12 week, 13 week now, because obviously we're over a week and a bit, almost 2 weeks. So we're going to utilize the end of the cycle for this rebound, and that's only because of the amount of time I've exposed to drugs. As I said on my video, there's 100 ways to skin a cat, and it depends on what situation the cat's in. So and that's me being the cat. So that's your rebound phase for me, just because the exposure I had with drugs, the amount of time I was on, the amount of time of dieting, and so where my fatigue is as well. So obviously we're utilizing it to put weight back on. And as I've said today, I weighed 230. So holding a little bit fluid, yes, but only a little bit. Nothing stupid. Just trying to put weight back on. And will my weight drop after today's rest day? Yeah, for sure. I had a high day a couple of days ago, so I'll probably drop 5 pounds tonight, for sure. But obviously that we will end up increasing food. And then we'll probably push that for 4 to 6 weeks. As I've said on my video, I'm someone who likes to utilize 16 to 20 week cycles. That's what I like myself. So we'll probably end up, doing 4-6 weeks, and that will tie us within that range. and then go into just performance TRT, use some growth hormone and use some insulin to obviously shuttle carbohydrates around on high days in an off-season phase and push for mass. And then the goal is to get to the super heavies and compete in 2023 March show. So, got to put on some serious fucking size to come in at 230 to, at least on with my frame. So it looks like I've got to put about 30 pounds of muscle on. And
I mean, you've done what, 35 since 2018?
About 45, isn't it? Because I come in about 200, didn't I? Or just under.
Yep.
So, yeah, pretty much.
It's doable.
Do you know what? I aim high.
Yep.
I'm going to do it with Sasan. We've both said it. Why not? This is what I do. I'm in the best position. I work for myself now.
Yep.
I now don't have to work shift work, so I'm in the ability of getting up at 6, going to bed by 10, asleep by 10, working that whole time, but having that routine, getting your meals in, smashing it.
Is there any closing thoughts you want to say before we call it a day?
The prep was fantastic. Joe, you're amazing. And everyone who took part and all the support, you're amazing, awesome. I love British bodybuilding. This year for bodybuilding is fantastic. Seeing people, like more and more people on YouTube making videos is great. Just the industry itself is fucking awesome. I mean, when I can go on YouTube and watch fucking James's prep, Ian's prep, Regan Grimes's prep, Kubra's prep, Jamie the Giant's prep. I can watch all these fucking great videos. Like, this is the best time to be alive, man, isn't it? As a fan of bodybuilding, someone who wants to succeed in this industry, it's just, it's a great time to be alive. I fucking love it, man.
I enjoyed Jamie's video when he went to buy that plant.
The plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it in an M4.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, this has been episode 56. I'll put all the links to Josh's socials in the description. And do you want to plug your coaching?
Yeah, so obviously I do have slots available. If you're looking for off-season prep, or you're like a serious lifestyle guy, looking to get in better shape, etc., or just better your physique, do drop me a message on Instagram, or just fill out my application and I'll come back to you via WhatsApp. But yeah, if you want to get massive, Team Ginger, there is slots available, but they are limited. So I don't have a huge I don't want to have a huge roster. I want to be able to speak to every client every day, if needed. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much. And also follow my YouTube and comment on the video. This video as well. Comment. It helps the algorithm. It does. Just put like massive Willie. Don't put that because they ban it. Just put massive P and we'll both understand.
Right,
say
do as the man says. Comment on the video, like, share, subscribe. If you're on the audio, we hope you enjoyed while you're wandering around the streets or on the step mill or shagging your missus or husband or whatever. But all of it, maybe both. Right, episode 56. Thanks again, Josh, for coming on, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you later, dude.